This game is rated M for mature. Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta 2. In the last episode, we had our first run-in with the mysterious masked Lumen, who seems to bear quite the grudge against Loki. And in this episode, we will be taking on Chapter 5, in which we will finally be getting to the Cathedral of Cascades. We've kind of been heading there ever since we landed in Noaton, and now we're actually going to get there.
Why did you have to go and do that, little one? Wake up. Damn it. Wake up! Enough jokes. Wake up!
Love, you can't let kids' jokes make you that mad.
And what about you? Do you really think it's safe to play dead with someone who can make you dead?
Men like to gamble, love.
Risking everything for nothing. Seems about right. I know another little boy just like that.
Sounds like my kind of guy. Maybe a bit of a pervert, though. Let's go. We're almost to the cathedral.
This track that's playing right here is aptly called To the Cathedral of Cascades. It's a very good track. We have quite a few things to do here in this area, starting with a resting place here. Have a lot of time for this one. The first piece is above water, and then the other ones are going to be below the surface here. Now, we did just get a new ability. I believe it's called the Serpent Within, if I remember correctly. And it's going to make moving around in water a lot easier. And of course, as you might expect, since they just gave it to us, this area is going to have quite a bit of water in it. Alright, actually I should just go back into the water. It'll be faster that way. So this chest has a broken witch heart in it. Next stop, there is off to the left down here is a chest. This is actually a pretty important one because it has the first half of a gold MLP in it. So this is Earl Koenig. And now we're going to head over to the middle here. You can kind of float around and you'll start this verse. I think it has 3 fidelities in it. Fighting like this is a bit tricky because we're technically in the air by the game's physics. So basically you have to deal with the fact that if you're not attacking, you're probably going to fall. So you can make this a little awkward. Oh, okay, that was all of them. I was a little bit slow on that, but I did feel kind of slow too, so Right in front of this entrance, which is where we're supposed to be going, is another chest. Should have a green herb, sorry, mega green herb lollipop in it. And our last piece of business before we move on is if you head over here, it's a little island. It's just on the other side of this fence or grating. Has a Muspelheim portal on it, so we'll take care of that, and then we can move on. Okay, so this one is defeat all the enemies, and we cannot use Witch Time. Alright, that was pretty smooth. Alright, that is exactly what I'd expect from that. You'll have to excuse me for not talking sometimes during the Muspelheim challenges in particular, but you know, if I just stop talking during fights, it's just because I'm trying to concentrate. And usually, in those situations, I don't really have that much more to add most of the time. So better to not say anything and hopefully play better than the alternative. Okay, so we're swimming through here, and the way forward is right there, but if you head down this way, there is an optional verse here. This one you will probably want to consider doing because... Yep. Dodged a little bit too early on that, but there is a reason to do this one, because the first time that you do it, I believe you get a moon pearl for it, so... Yeah. Not doing the best job evading these fidelities. Yeah, I think I'll just save my magic for a future verse. So there is the Broken Moon Pearl. Did alright otherwise, just took a couple hits. It seems like our Moon Pearl, or I guess our magic meter, is kind of lagging behind our health a bit, and I'm not sure if that's just because they put more... like, you know, broken witch hearts in the early sections of the game or not, because I think we've only found like a total of 8 broken moon pearls at this point. Okay, so there is a crow right there if you want to get that, and I'll give it a couple shots. And if I'm going by the literal definition of a couple, that was the second try, so it's a good thing I did it then. There's a chest over here that has a broken witch heart in it. Now, you can collect that after walking into the middle there. I just like to do it beforehand because, you know, it's just easier that way. Yeah, I'll skip on going to the Gates of Hell for now. There is a note right along the main path here. This is Underground Graveyard. There is said to be a resting place for the servants of God in the Cathedral of Cascades submerged underground. The locals told me of a terrible guardian that prowls the corridors, devouring the soul of any fool who trespasses in that sacred place. The people of this town must be fed up with me sticking my inquisitive nose where it doesn't belong. Why else would they concoct such a ludicrous tale? The phrase servants of God calls to mind images of ordained prophets passing down divine wisdom. I imagine these disciples also played a part in the shadowy past of the witch and the sage. I will find clues to the origins of these clans somewhere in this cathedral. I can feel it. The natives here don't know who they're dealing with. It takes more than a few tired ghost stories to put a damper on the journalistic flame of one Mr. Luca Redgrave. So yeah, if the game hasn't confirmed that it's him writing the journals before now, then that definitely does. And we have a lot of new things for since we started a new chapter. Just go through these quickly. Okay. So once you are ready, head into the middle.
Here we are.
Of course, what better way to activate something like this than pole dancing? This actually does something really cool. This is kind of reminiscent of those hourglasses from the first game. Reconstructing that path up the mountain.
An infernal?
They don't look like your kind of normal attention. A friend, love?
I think my friends and I might have had a falling out. Why would infernals be after me?
Something's up. The balance of powers that keep things in check don't feel right, does it?
Good to know some of you are keeping your part of the contract. Let's do this.
So we have our first fight with an infernal here. So this game features more than just your standard angels, which we do have. Oop, that was definitely not a dodge. But we do have Megaton's guidebook in our file section there, so it did kind of hint that this was coming. I do like the variety though, so I think it's good that they included different types of enemies from just the angels, and it makes a lot more sense when you consider that we'll be going to Inferno. Oh. So I dodged the first part of that attack. Apparently had two parts. I got hit again after the witch time wore off. I didn't really talk that much about the enemy we were actually facing there, which was... I totally forgot what it was. I'm going to go into the file and look it up so I don't look like a complete idiot. Pain, okay. That's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to be sure. Yeah, right. So, To the Cathedral of Cascades is playing again, which I am happy about. The room's going to be filling with water here, and you kind of have to wait for it to fill up. On the middle level here, part of the way up, there's a chest for one. Has some halos in it. There's also a note in the middle of the room. This is trademark. Crests are often used to show the lineage and ancestry of a people. The Umbra and Lumen also used such crests to represent their clans. The symbols were based on the object of each clan's respective ideology, the moon for the witches and the sun for the sages. These distinctive symbols, etched upon every Lumen or Umbran object of any importance, make an investigative journalist's job easy. A single glance tells you from which culture an object came from. The Umbran tombs sealed away by the Lumen are a unique example, with an Umbran seal on the tomb and a Lumen seal on the marker atop it. They bear the motifs of both the sun and the moon. A crest also exists for Aesir, the god of chaos. Carvings of this symbol are a familiar sight around Noatin. Made up of a series of overlapping diamonds, each component is said to represent a single layer in the matrix of time and space that forms our universe. There is a piece of metal embedded within Aesir's crest that shines with an eerie glow. I've heard it contains some deeper significance, but I am going to need a bit more time to crack this particular chestnut. And also on this level is a Muspelheim portal. Okay, so this one I believe we have not seen before, and it is defeat all enemies without touching the ground once. These ones are a bit different compared to the ones in the first game, in which there were no supports whatsoever. So I kind of like what they did with this one because it allows you to actually do some more ground fighting than you would in the ones in the first game. And it didn't happen to me in this one, but as you might expect, the enemy attacks can break the platforms that you're standing on, and obviously if you run out of platforms to stand on, then you have to kind of stay in the air. Now there are some things that you can do to stay in the air for a pretty long period of time, almost indefinitely if you do it right, but you don't really need to use those strategies for those kinds of Muspelheims generally, because they give you enough ground to stand on, and as long as you're doing a good enough job of dealing with the enemies, then you won't have to worry too much about it. So definitely an improvement there. Once you get up into the Great Hall here, if you jump back down into the water, part of the way down it will start a verse. And I'm just going to fall to the bottom and make them come down to me so that I can actually fight them on a little bit more level of the playing field. Where are they? Clearly they don't want to come down, so probably not going to get the best time on this one again. Yep, there goes my combo. Alright, well that could have gone better. Yeah, that could have gone a little bit better. Oh well. There's really not too much of a reason to do that one if you don't want to, but it's also not that far out of your way, so kind of up to you. Speaking of optional verses, there is yet another one if you come all the way to the right side of the Grand Hall here. Let's see, I think I got hit there once by one of the ones there. Oh! Hey, I didn't notice you. That was actually a little bit better than I was expecting it to be. However, very important, do not miss this. In this alcove that's kind of lit, there is the other half of the Angelic Hymns Gold LP, so definitely don't miss that if you want access to more weapons. Now, before going up that staircase over there to the right, you go all the way down here on the ground level, there is another chest. And that just has a bunch of halos in it. So now we will actually go where the game wants us to.
This is it! The bridge to the heavens should be right above us.
Are you sure?
Not really.
Not really, huh? But you're right. This is it. Call it a woman's intuition.
Women's intuition? What kind of silly comic book shit is that? You still don't know a thing about me.
Let's just say I have plenty of experience with nothing coming to mind.
What?
I spent 500 years not knowing who I was. I only found out the truth recently.
You too? Listen, I don't remember a thing. Nothing. I don't even know why I'm so damn sure I need to go to that mountain. But I know I have to. It's all I know. Does that make any sense?
Come now, little one. Can't let the girls know you've got a heart.
It's not like that.
If that's all you know, that's all the sense you need. Just believe. That's what I did.
Bayonetta. Let's do it!
Okay, well, we have a few more things to do here, but I think this is probably a good place to end off this episode. So, thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Bayonetta 2. I've been redxparasite, signing out.